Coming up on episode 10 of The Good, the Bad, the Teskey, Dwight Howard lands in LA. NFL preseason kicks off as Peyton Manning and Michael Vick take to the field. Usain Bolt and the rest of the Jamaican sprinters sweep the podium in the 200 meters in London. All that and more coming up on The Good, the Bad, the Teskey.
Robinson had 10 off the bench in the first half, rejected by Dwight Howard.
You get a chance to see right there why Orlando has been one of the top-ranked defenses in the NBA for Dwight Howard's entire tenure.
Pass toward Tams to Brown. He's trying to give them some energy. Howard meets him at the rim. Hello, Dwight Howard.
Welcome to episode 10 of The Good, the Bad, the Teskey. I am Colin Teskey, and a huge trade in the NBA today involving four teams involves the Los Angeles Lakers, Orlando Magic, Denver Nuggets, and the Philadelphia 76ers, and it has some big-name players on the move, including Dwight Howard. Superman is going to be finding a new home, and a lot of people thought he didn't want to go to Los Angeles because he'd be living up in Shaq's footsteps, and that he wanted to go somewhere different to form his own legacy. Well, that's not going to happen anymore. He's going to join Steve Nash and Kobe Bryant in Los Angeles. He's going there. Going to Orlando, they will receive Aaron Aflalo, Al Harrington, Nikola Vucevic, Mo Harkless, and 3 first-round picks. And then Denver will receive Andre Iguodala, and Andrew Bynum from Los Angeles goes over to Philadelphia. So definitely a big shakeup there. Orlando, again, doesn't get equal value back in this deal, but they at least get something instead of letting Dwight Howard walk at the end of his contract next season. And how does this affect the Los Angeles Lakers? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's going to affect them in a big way. You're getting a 6-time All-Star, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and this guy is going to help you a lot in the paint, especially when you go up against the likes of Oklahoma City, who is going to become the best rivalry, I believe, in the Western Conference in the next 5 years, is who is going to get the better of those two teams. You're going to have the youth of the Oklahoma City Thunder with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, going up now against the experienced Los Angeles Lakers with guys like Pau Gasol, Ron Artest, Metta World Peace, Kobe Bryant. You're going to have those guys trying to go up against these young kids, and it's going to make for some great television to watch these guys play year in and year out. And even Magic Johnson weighed in, and this is what he had to say.
The Lakers will get the best of Dwight Howard that probably the league has ever seen. He's going to play his best basketball right now because he has to. There's so much pressure on him because of all that was been going on this whole last year and a half of wanting out of Orlando. So besides being last year of his contract, besides him want to prove the critics wrong, I think you're going to see a great Dwight Howard.
I think Magic has a point. I mean, Dwight Howard has one more year left on his contract. Who knows if he'll sign an extension? He probably will with the Lakers, but he's got stuff to play for, right? He's got to live up to the other great centers that have played for the Los Angeles Lakers. You got to go down the list here. Look up George Mikan, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, Shaquille O'Neal. He's got that to live up to, and I don't think Dwight Howard is going to be the kind of guy that's going to fold under that type of pressure. Now, he's not going to have to be the star as well. This is a team that is still Kobe's team. You've also got Steve Nash. It's not like he's going to have to carry this team on his back. The thing he's going to have to worry about is he now has the villain tag. He has robbed that from LeBron James just for the way he handled his situation in Orlando. He had wanted out of Orlando all along, but had lied to the media, lied to the fan base, and had teased them and told them that he wanted to stay there repeatedly. And then he goes out and he gets their head coach fired, their general manager fired, and in the end, he decides to jump ship and go play for a different team. So he has caused a lot of grief, and a lot of people were sick and tired of hearing Dwight Howard mentioned in the news, and I am too, but now that this is finally over, I can put it past me. But people are still going to tune in to the Lakers a lot more than they used to. The Lakers are always going to be a big draw with Kobe Bryant, but I think more than ever, people are going to tune in now to watch Dwight, and they're going to want to see the Lakers fail. They're going to want to see this aging team lose to a team like Oklahoma City that has built their team through the draft and hasn't had to go out and recruit big-name players just to compete for a championship. So you're going to see that next year, and it's going to be fun to watch how the big television networks decide to cover Laker games because they're going to have so many storylines now. You've had so many big-name players move cities in the last 3 years. first we had the decision where we had LeBron James and Chris Bosh going to Miami. And Chris Paul moved to Los Angeles Clippers last year. So there's been some big moves, and now you have Dwight Howard. So a lot of the league has shifted, and we're seeing a power shift where there's going to be maybe 5 or 10 really good teams that have a legitimate shot at competing for an NBA championship. And that's what the Lakers are right now. The Lakers are that team. Look at the moves they have made. They have a very deep team now. And just look at them. They have Dwight Howard now in the paint, Pau Gasol, Metta World Peace, Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant. On the bench, they added Antoine Jameson. You have Devin Ebanks, Steve Blake, and Matt Barnes still on your bench. So the Lakers are going to be in really good shape, and it's going to be fun to watch Dwight Howard fit in there in the LA limelight. Also, I want to talk a little bit about NFL preseason last night, and it's kind of sad. I know it's August, but last night I sat down to watch some NFL preseason games. I was watching closely the Denver Broncos as Peyton Manning made his return. He hadn't played professional football for 557 days, and he made his return last night for the Denver Broncos with a new team, and he did a pretty good job. And he only played one series, went 4 for 7, threw 50 yards, but his drive, he did lead the Denver Broncos down the field, and I think it was good for him to get off to a good start like that, even though it was only one series. If he has a bad series, he goes 3 and out, people in Denver would start to question whether Peyton Manning was worth the risk and if he is still the same Peyton Manning he was in Indianapolis. So good for him. Played very, very well in the one series and definitely has some potential now when working with Jim Fox, who has gone to Super Bowl with Jake Delhomme and who also went to the playoffs with Tim Tebow and won a playoff game. It's going to be interesting to see how Jim Fox and the Denver Broncos fare this season. I was also watching Michael Vick and the Philadelphia Eagles play last night, and it was very nerve-wracking. Michael Vick got hurt on one of the very first series of the game, and it wasn't his typical type of injury. It wasn't like he was scrambling out of the pocket and got hit by some big linebacker. He was standing in the pocket, and after he completed his throw, his throwing hand hit a player's helmet, and he hurt his wrist. So he left early, and it looked like the Mike Kafka era was going to begin in Philadelphia because you saw him on the sideline wincing in pain, and a wrist injury on his throwing hand is not something that's easy to play through. But luckily, x-rays were negative. It looks to just be a bruise, and it looks like Michael Vick will be back out and playing for September 5th in their opener against the Cleveland Browns. Other games I watched was the Washington Redskins. I watched RG3 play for the first time at quarterback, and he had a great day. Washington won the game 7-6 over the Bills, so it was very low scoring. The only touchdown of the game was thrown by Robert Griffin, who went 4 of 6 for 70 yards and did not look like he was out of place whatsoever. And now if you're in that NFC East division, which is always competitive, you always looked at the Redskins, not to say that you underestimated them, but you kind of saw them as one of those games you should win. Now looking over your shoulder, you got Robert Griffin coming up, and he's going to add to all of the great quarterbacks that are in that division already. And he's going to compete with the likes of Eli Manning of the New York Giants, Tony Romo, Michael Vick. You got Robert Griffin now coming in as a youngster, and Washington didn't look bad, especially if Robert Griffin can play like that week after week. Another big storyline yesterday was Usain Bolt and the rest of his Jamaican teammates sweeping the podium in the 200 meters. Usain Bolt finished with a time of 19:32. His fellow countryman Johan Blake finished behind him at 19:44. And then winning the bronze medal was Warren Weir, also from Jamaica. But the big thing is that Usain Bolt makes history. He becomes the first guy to win the 200 meters in back-to-back Olympics. As well, he becomes the first man to win both the 100-meter and 200-meter in consecutive games. And it's amazing to see how this guy is so young. He's 25 years old. He's also 6'5", and that he can set these kind of times. And I don't know if it's just the long stretch that he has over his competition, but we've never seen a sprinter quite like Usain Bolt, who is so powerful and has the willingness to ease up before he hits the finish line and not go full throttle. And we don't really know how fast this guy really could be, because a lot of the time he doesn't want to push himself too hard, to risk injury and stuff like that. But if this guy did, it'd be scary to see how fast this guy could really go. Anyway, thanks for listening to the podcast. I hope all of you guys have a tremendous weekend. You can follow me on Twitter at @C_Teskey. Like us on Facebook. You can also get us on our blog at thegoodthebadtheteskey.wordpress.com. Anyway, you guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to stay right here and listen to the podcast. So thanks for listening, guys, and have a great day.